5-time Wrangler National Finals qualifier, Charly Crawford. Y'all give him a big hand, welcome him up here. We're gonna visit for a minute with Charly. So,
yeah, this is what all year's about. It's right here for 10 days.
Sure, absolutely. What I ask everybody as they come up here, we just completed round 2. How'd you do in round 1? Set that up for us a little bit.
Round 1, we're getting them caught. My end ain't been real sharp, which has kind of been frustrating for me. The practice has been going good. We run the steers through the other day. Everything's been feeling real good. And then, I don't know if the adrenaline's kind of getting the best of me or what, but throwing head loops that I ain't been throwing, but they are getting caught, so which is good, better than some guys that probably feel real good with the loops they threw and then they missed.
Sure, absolutely.
I'll take ugly over not effective any day.
Absolutely. What about round 2? How'd you do? What happened in round 2?
Got another dang neck, and then my partner did a good job of healing, and I think we placed 5th. I don't really keep track. I think we placed.
Sure, that's fine right there. Speaking of your partner, talk to me about Jim Ross Cooper. Y'all been doing it up this year. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, we started roping in April, and it's just great. You know, he's real positive. You know, we've made some good runs. We've taken a lot of kind of practice to get our runs kind of. We never really roped together until this year. He's one of those guys you don't have to worry about him. If you miss 4 in a row, he's got your back. You know, he's not running you down to everybody else where you feel more extra added pressure. You know, he's got your back, and he's, you know, it's like last night. He's like, man, I know we got this. Don't sweat it. Just keep turning them. I'll keep roping them. And, you know, he's pretty good where if you kind of beat yourself up, he's on your team. He's got your back.
Well, that makes a huge difference, you know, as far as people you travel with and you hang with, you know, this stuff, everything each other do seems like it's contagious, you know, as far as attitudes and this kind of stuff. But I met both of y'all for the first time this year at the Spicer Grip. Y'all won that together. Talk about that roping a little bit.
Oh, that's such a good roping.
It is a good one.
They bring in great steers, and you know, it's nice to get to enter one time with your main partner, a 6-header, you know, where it kind of eliminates your draw factor a little bit. You know, them 3 or 4 headers, sometimes you got to draw pretty good to stay with them. You know, 6-head, it kind of eliminates the draw a little bit, where it's kind of boiled down to a roping contest, and they're just fun. They do such a good job with that roping and get the money added, and it's just a fun deal, especially that time of year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're just kind of doing a broad spectrum here because we don't have a whole lot of time. But what brand of ropes are you using?
I'm a Cactus Man.
Cactus Man.
Yes, sir.
What specifically? Which rope are you heading with?
I've been using the C4 here lately. It's faster. The body feels good. I brought the Explosions out because they take the cold a little better. But it's been so warm out that I've been kind of sticking with the C4s. But I'd like to eliminate the explosion around the neck a little bit. But
do you kind of check out? I mean, is it this detailed? Do you kind of check out the weather a little bit? I mean, I heard it's supposed to cool off maybe tomorrow.
I'm not sure. And then it's just better rope preparation. Like right now, it's warm enough. I don't have to keep them in the gym to keep them warm. They feel fine.
I noticed that last night that you guys keep those kind of indoors and swing them, you know, before the roping and all that good stuff. You got your family out here with you?
My little girl's coming out today.
All right.
My mom is coming out later. My other mom and dad, they're my stepmom, she's had surgery, so my dad's staying home with her. So they're watching on the big screen.
Oh, well, I bet that's kind of, you know, I'm sure they'd rather be here, but it's probably pretty entertaining.
My dad, he come here for 25 years. He wished it was 30 rounds.
Oh, yeah,
sure. Die-hard fan.
I'd like to, and you probably would too, I'd like to watch them watch you. You know what I mean, on TV, that kind of, I bet it's pretty entertaining in the living room there.
My dad's pulling his hair out.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I didn't teach him that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What, I started following you on Facebook a little bit, and it kind of seems like you're doing like a little blog thing. What do you got going there?
I don't know what I'm doing.
I know, well, I find it entertaining, you know, especially leading up to the NFR. You know, you're talking about your practices and that kind of stuff. But what'd y'all do to prepare kind of coming out here?
Well, Alex with Luberson, him and I sat down over there and talked at Oklahoma City, and I was telling him how I've been trying to market myself better, you know, and with schools and stuff like that. My schools have gone so good, and I have so many people that repeat coming back to my schools, and I told him I just kind of been stuck in a deal. I'm not really sure. I know I want to market myself better, but I don't know how. And so we sat down and for 2 or 3 days, and he helped me out with some things, and he was like, man, start November 1st and you know, there's so many people that don't know what it takes to get ready for the NFR. Or if they do, they kind of be interested how you do it and stuff. And he just come up with about 3 or 4 pages of notes where,
Right.
you know, just an everyday blog right there of what you do, and it's been a good response, and it's been fun. It's amazing the people that message you afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I got that same problem. I can't believe you go through things like that.
Right. Do you know, I noticed there were some of them, you know, you'd have 250 likes on just, you know, kind of talking about what you do, but people send comments. You kind of respond to some of them, you know, if it's a question or something like that?
Yeah, I try to, you know, especially if it's, you know, something like a lot of them will have the same scoring issues that I was talking about one day with a new horse, or, you know, how I was talking about working with nerves and, you know, psychology part of it, of staying positive, and you know, so many people are like, we can't believe that, you know, you guys go through that, and you know, and then they talk about some of the demons that they have before they rope, and
Absolutely.
so mainly it's just positive thinking and trying to, you know, give people some extra input on what we do to succeed.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Charlie, we appreciate you visiting with us. We're going to keep Charlie up here, but ladies and gentlemen, we have a really special treat for you right now. I want everybody to gather around and begin to prepare your questions, because if you have a horse, you plan on getting a horse, or if you've ever known a horse, today is your lucky day. Because today we have one of the preeminent large animal veterinarians with us over here today, and the country's leading lameness specialist who's agreed to speak with all of us. He's going to take questions for about 5 minutes, any questions you may have. Dr. Steve Allday has been participating for nearly 30 years and has a long history of working with thoroughbred racehorse champions. He and his wife Kim have dedicated their lives into using cutting-edge science to develop all natural products that absolutely improve the lives of animals and people as well. But as you know, this kind of access to a veterinarian, this is a treat right here. But Dr. Allday is priceless, so gather around. Let's get started with this, and you need the 411 and not a 911, and I love this part. Ladies and gentlemen, the alternative way with Dr. Allday. Give him a hand for being here right now. And Dr. Allday, before we get started, everybody, I want you to know that we have a microphone out here. He's going to visit with us a little bit. Rachel's got a microphone, so just raise your hand, and he's going to take some questions from you folks. So, Dr. Allday, take it away, my friend.
Fire away if you got a question.
We're going right into the question deal. Does anybody have a question as far as, you know, lameness or anything like that as far as your horses? David Isham, you got a question, I'm sure. He's a horse owner.
I do. I've come, I guess, out of 20 years of roping to realize that there's no such thing as a sound rope horse. I guess that's the conclusion I've come to. And really, once I kind of came to that conclusion, I really got more comfortable with just managing my horses. But I guess a horse is just like an athlete, and every one of them are going to have just little management issues with them. And one of the, I guess, the common things that it just seems to always be a go-to deal for us is injecting hocks on rope horses. You know, if you got a horse that has to be injected kind of every 6 months or something like that, do you ever see, is that ever more detrimental to do that? I mean, is that bad to do that, or, you know, should you try to hold off as long as you can, or should you try to do it as often as you can to keep that horse comfortable?
Well, David, that's a good question, because it's something that does occur. I mean, horses do need, you know, you have to intervene or inject them from time to time in order to get them over an issue that basically comes up at a bad time. In a perfect world, if you could stop on them, give them some time off, give them the chance to get everything quieted down, that'd be great. Unfortunately, they lose conditioning then, they lose a lot of their timing. You basically can't, it's hard to keep them going the way you'd like to keep them going. So obviously, you know, the best way to do it is to inject them, and what you inject them with basically has a lot to do with the number of times that you can inject them, and also the number of times that you can get away with injecting them. If you put a lot of corticosteroids in hocks in particular, you will expedite or speed up the process of degenerating the joint, and you'll find that every time you do it, you'll have to come back more often, and you get a little less effect or a little less better response, so to speak, after the injection. That's why using hyaluronic acid and a little corticosteroid, it's something of the nature of not like Depomedrol, probably maintains these lower joints because these are real small spaces and it doesn't take much for them to go ahead and start closing down and get some bony reaction there. This is also one of the reasons why we created, or why I went, to utilizing and manufacturing hyaluronic acid in an oral form. First off, it helps maintain the acid in that joint, so therefore they get good lubrication, and it decreases the amount of friction and things of this nature, which creates more and more soreness. The second thing it does is that it decreases the number of times, or you'll find out as the horse gets older, if you put them on an oral compound like this, like say Lubricin, it'll maintain those joints so you can see longer periods of time before you have to inject them again. So all those things, yes, you will have to intervene, and it behooves us to do that because you're right about one thing. It's just a matter of the level of management that you got to have with your horse, because all horses are sore to some degree. Obviously, the longer that they've done their job, the little tougher and the more wear and tear you get. Typically, head horses, in particular, get a lot of hocks because they have to stop, and they get a lot of wear and tear on their right front because that's the first limb that they plant in order to set up to go across a pen. And more times than not, when I see a head horse that's sore, almost 9 times out of 10, they're going to lame right hind, right front, and left hind. And that's typical where they'll take the wear and tear and the stop, and then that's the first place they push off that left hind to go into that corner. So, yeah, injecting is definitely necessary. It's unfortunate. It is a little risky from time to time, but in the hands of a good clinician or technician, not a problem. But maintaining the situation with things like Lubricin help decrease the chances you'll have to come back and do it as often, for sure.